Hello. So my name is Augusta. I am a property entrepreneur of Nigerian descent and I live in the UK. But today I am filming this video from Cape Town, South Africa, and I'm going to take some time to explain why in a moment. First of all, I just want to take a minute to show you this gorgeous view from the place that we are staying in an area called Bellville, about 30 minutes from Cape Town International Airport, because I think we could all do with a little bit of sunshine in our lives right now. So my online brand is known as the New Face of Finance. Why am I making this video? I think that there's certainly some people who need some kind of perspective with everything that's going on, and I'm hoping that some of the words and what I'm able to explain today is going to be able to add some value. So why are we in South Africa? Now I hope I get the opportunity to do an extended video as to how we ended up here, but to summarize, my husband and I were married in February, and then we came out to South Africa on honeymoon. And when we tried to return, the airspace over South Africa was closed, and therefore we found ourselves in a position where we had to stay here for at least 21 days or until the British government come along and are able to repatriate us back to the UK. Okay, so what makes me an entrepreneur? Again, if there's something that you're further interested in, I will take a video to really go into detail. But essentially, I have 3 property businesses. Now, going back to who I am, some people, a lot of people I know would actually say that I'm quite a successful entrepreneur. When it's you don't always feel that success. A mortgage advice business, a property development business, and a short let or serviced accommodation business. And I run these in conjunction and partnership with my husband and my mother. Perspective. So why is perspective important in these super challenging times? Well, look, the reason why I think it's important for us to have this conversation is because, as I say, perspective is really important. And, you know, a lot of family members, when they found out that we were going to, be stuck in South Africa, were like super concerned. Oh my gosh, stay safe. Family members, friends, clients have contacted me and they're like, oh my gosh, you must be like so stressed out. How are you coping in South Africa? Oh my gosh, it must be so dangerous. You must feel alone. But we're out here. The weather's absolutely lovely. There's shops, a pretty developed part of town. We're in Cape Town. But as you can see, like literally there's no one around. Like there's no one around. On top of that, South Africa has less than 2,000 cases and 5 deaths the last time I checked. And I'm not trying to minimize this, but what I am saying is actually we're probably safer here in Africa than we would do if we were to come back in Europe. The truth of the matter is, I feel okay. I feel quite good about being here. I mean, the UK went into lockdown before South Africa, so I would have gone back there and I would have been quarantined at home, self-isolating with my husband. We do have a lovely home, a lovely property. But I would have just been thrown back into like all the challenges of life that we were experiencing before. And I don't think that would have been a good thing. And it's allowed us time to think and read and talk about our new normal. Who's worried about you? Who's worried about you right now? Is that worry helping you? You being worried about the future, can you see that enabling you to grow? Are you becoming a better person as a result of that worry? Or is it stagnating you? Is it procrastinating you? Is it meaning that you're just sitting in front of the TV, watching and worrying? So sometimes I know that family are well-meaning, but their worry can actually be quite poisonous. And I think that's something that you should really take the time to think about over the next few weeks. You don't need to carry other people's worries and anxieties. What you need to think about is where you are right now and where you want to get to, and what that time in between, what you can be doing in that time in between in order to get where you need to. So look, I have a really happy, healthy life, However, there were aspects of the ways that our businesses were being run that we were finding quite challenging the last few months. Prior to us coming out on this trip, I had a challenging few months. I was in a period of transitioning my advisory business from being a partner at a super respected advisory firm in the city to kind of trying to set up my own practice. I am formerly a partner at a well-respected advisory firm based in the City of London. And I then began the process of trying to set up my own brokerage. And it was challenging setting up the systems and just basically building a pipeline. And in the process of doing this, you know, COVID appears. So the last few months have been super challenging anyway, in terms of trying to bring money in and trying to get things started. And so as much as I'd love to be back in the UK at some point, it's not like I was going back to amazing hunky-doriness. It's not like I was super happy with everything that was happening with my businesses and in my life at the time. Don't get me wrong, I'm quite a happy, content person. I'm quite optimistic, but I know that our businesses were struggling. I know that there were things that I needed to do and things I needed to change, and this crisis actually created the opportunity for me to make those necessary changes. And so there were lots of things that I wanted to change. There were lots of things that I wanted to amend about this business, but you almost like on even self-employed. I mean, we're not part of the rat race, but every day, especially if you're self-employed and you're quite determined, you've got people that rely on you, staff and other business associates, you're constantly busy, you're constantly on the wheel, constantly trying to make things happen. And there isn't any time to kind of stop and genuinely work on the business or work on the businesses as opposed to working in the business. Now, there are some things that I've had to do in the last 24 hours that I've not been massively proud of. So, for example, I've had some amazing, absolutely talented, dedicated staff. One of them been with me nearly 3 years, and unfortunately today I had to make my important staff redundant, and it's not something that I'm totally happy with, but fortunately they took the news quite well. And what it also means is now I can refocus my energies on enabling the businesses to kind of regrow. The important things, I think there are women, there are men who will watch this, who will resonate with what I'm saying, who will think, oh my gosh, like there's potentially a new way for me to look at what's happening to me. This might not be all doom and gloom. Perhaps I don't have to spend all my time watching Netflix. So I've read like 3 books in the last week. I've watched so many YouTube videos. I've taken the time to really grow and think about, how I want to emerge out of this time. I'll be making more videos during this period, but I'm not making these videos and it will never be from a you go do this, you go do that. Heck, it's your life, you do what you need to do. But what I think is important is that I will be providing a perspective of how we're doing, how we're coping, being out here in South Africa while our families are far away in Nigeria, in the UK, and other parts of the world, in America. But what I'll also be explaining is what I'm doing to take advantage of the time that we're out here. I mean, I've read like 4 books in the last week. I never get time to read. Me, I'm on Netflix. I'll be working, but I have Netflix on in the background. I've even cancelled my Netflix subscription. I love Netflix, don't get me wrong. I think they're an incredible company. They do amazing things, but at the same time, I am trying to create a new normal. What I want my new world to look like, who I want to be doing business with, the relationships that I want to be building, the way that I want to approach business going forward. So, I'm welcoming you to take that journey with me. If you like the content of this video, like it, share it, comment, tell me the things you want to know about. What are your questions? Have you got things that you're thinking, I need some help, I need some guidance about this? Let me talk to you, let me help you, let me guide you through this process if I can. But to be honest, I think it's just important that I document my time here. I'm real, I'm honest about what's kind of going on and how it's forcing us to change. So look, thanks for watching. I've been Augusta, and I look forward to seeing you next time.